Alright guys, so in today's breakdown video, I'm going to be breaking down how I made this Scent of Africa video. So alright, let's begin. First of all, I had to actually make the product. So to do that, I went online to Google and I got the dimensions of a perfume bottle and I put those dimensions on this default cube here. And so these are the dimensions and this is what it gave me. So I used this as a guide to create the bottle here as well as this as a guide. Right, so I use the image, I just put it down there like that and just started creating the bottle from there. Making the base was easy because it's just a circle and just extrude it upwards to get this shape. But to get the cover, I had to improvise a little bit. So what I had to do was I had to go into Illustrator, send this picture into Illustrator and use the pen tool to map out the outline of the cover. Then I had to export it as an SVG file. And this is what you get when you export it as an SVG file. So originally it would just be black like this. You don't actually want it this way. So what I had to do was I had to go to the data properties and change it from 2D to 3D. So it looks more like this. So this is like a curve. So what I had to do was I had to actually change this from a curve to a mesh. Then I used that, after changing to a mesh, I just used that to like just model, to just continue modeling it. So what I did was the base here is a circle, the top here is what was the SVG, and I just connected them with bridge edge loops. So that's it for the modeling. Okay, now let's go to the actual scenes to see how I made everything. So I actually started with this scene. This was the first scene in making the video, and you actually see in the video it is the last scene, but this was the first scene that I made for the video. And I used a reference image for this actually. I got this idea from a video I watched, and this is the image I use as a reference. So I use this as a reference to create the background, the environment, everything here. And let me go into render view so you can see. I hope it doesn't take too long to load. Okay, yeah, so this is it, right? And I think I used this one rather. So this is the scene. So I created um, a plane, added an ocean modifier to it, added some rocks to just match this scene. And as you can see, it's a bit, it looks similar, it looks very similar to it. So that was the idea. And it's actually, this scene is actually what was the center of the video. And if I as I go through the scenes, you see some things are still in the video, are still like influenced by this scene, right? Because like the HDRI, for instance, what I use in this scene is what I use in most of the other scenes. So the idea for this video was to present this perfume product and show the distinguishing features it has. So if you remember from the video, the first scene, so this is the first scene, right? You see something like this. So I just wanted to create something abstract to, just catch your eye as you just start watching it. Like, what is that? So that was the first scene. And this is actually the base of the bottle. And let me just move this. As you can see, is the base. And this uses like a proximity modifier, which is on the bottle to change the shape. I can link a video in the description to show you how to actually do this, where I learned this from. Yeah, so I just wanted to create something abstract, something just abstract to open as an opener for the video. And that is this. Right, so I just created this. I tilted it downwards with this empty so that it's not straight. And I positioned the camera down a bit with also this empty. So it looks down from here. And I also added a lot of depth of field so that like it's going to be clear as to what this actually is. So moving on to scene 2. As I said, I just wanted to make the like highlight the features of the bottle. So this side is a close-up shot of the bottle. The reason why you can see it's golden is there's actually a mistake with my shader. So let me update this. So let's see. All right. So this is actually how I did it. So as you can see, it is the same HDRI, and I just added these two objects back into the scene, moved everything else, and tilted the actual object itself with the empty. As you can see, this is the empty, and again I added an empty for the camera to follow. So for the camera to track to, and I just animated it to go from up to down, just up to down, to just highlight the logo, like the label of the perfume. Next scene was this side, right, to highlight the top of it, because this is also one distinguishing feature that is not actually really known unless you actually buy the product. So I added this scene to, you know, show off like they have the actual African map as the cover of the bottle, right? And for that, the same HDRI, okay, I think this is a different one, but like giving off the same kind of color. And this is a plain, and I actually added some dynamic paints and ripples to make ripples on the plane, but the cache is missing, so you can't actually see the ripples right now. Okay, and again, this is tracked to an empty. This is tracked, the camera is tracked to this empty, and the camera moves from point A to point B. And that actually gives us this movement from here to here, like that, to show off again the top of it. Now the scene 4, this is also like the other scenes, right? I just want to show the bottle in sort of full view from this angle. So this side also goes from left, or from left to right or right to left, I don't know. So this again is also tracked, it's tracking an empty, and it's just moving from one side to the other. Same HDRI, right? Same HDRI, same ocean, same rock material. As you can see, it's not really that complicated. Now this scene, okay, so something like this, right? So this one again is an ocean modifier. You can see an ocean modifier. I've added a keyframe for time to move from one point to the other. So this is the end point, 250. So it goes from from 3 to 4. So it's like a very smooth, very slow, like wave movement. And so this again was to just show the full picture, like the full product in full view, so that it's like this is actually how the product looks like. And this is, I think, the second scene when you start the video, right? So what I did was I had to add an empty for the camera to track to. So you can see from here, the empty is down, so it's looking downwards. Then as it goes, the empty moves up. Look at the camera. Then the camera also begins to move towards it. So from frame 100 to from frame 200, the camera begins to move towards the bottle. So you can actually see that here. So we move up here, then from 100 to 200, it zooms in to the perfume. This is actually where the video editing happens in Blender. So there's a video editing tab. So you can actually combine all your scenes here and actually just render everything out at once if you want to. You can add a soundtrack and match the scenes according to the soundtrack, just like you would do in any video editing. So here you can see scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, all of them are gathered here. with this music. So when I play, you can hear them, you can hear the song, you can hear the music, you can also see the video should also moving. One thing to note is that depending on your system, it might actually be a bit slow. Right? You can see mine, the FPS is actually not that great for some scenes. It's actually because of what's going on in each of the respective scenes. That's why it's a bit slow. But if you have powerful enough PC, this can be very smooth for you, and you can use this in your video editing, and like editing your scenes in Blender, which can give you a like a lot of leverage because you can have the freedom to edit everything according to what you want, and you can save a lot of time, right? So that is everything. So I just added all the scenes, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, scene 6, like that, and just rendered everything out. So yeah, that is it for the breakdown. Now in post-processing, right, I also added some things after in the compositing actually. So let me leave it because I'm not doing anything. This is what I used for my compositing. Let me bring it closer so you can see. So first off, this is a color balance node. This can actually help you to change the color, the hue of whatever thing you've rendered. So if you want it to be a little bit warmer, if you just rendered something plain, you want it to be a little bit warmer, you can just bring this down here to make it warmer. If you want it to be a little bit cooler, just bring it up here to make it cooler. You can change the options to this one. And so that's pretty much the same thing, but different aspects. So I added some glare, and that is actually what gives me that glare in the last scene. And this is exposure. It's also the like control exposure basically, and lens distortion. It's really important to add lens distortion, color balance, and maybe sometimes even glare to your scene because this actually makes it look a bit more realistic. So all the steps that I took in creating this video. If you want me to dive into a certain subject more in this video that you've seen in this video, let me know in the comment section and I would get straight to it. Thanks for watching and have a good day.